Today we're breaking down a new law that is a potential game changer for experienced real estate investors in Florida. We're talking about the Protected Series LLC, which officially goes into effect on July 1st, 2026. If you're a real estate investor in Florida and your portfolio is growing, this probably hits pretty close to home, right? You already know the drill. To protect your assets, the standard advice has always been to stick each property into its own separate LLC. And look, it's sound advice, but man, the costs and the paperwork, they stack up incredibly fast. This video contains affiliate links. Before we dive into the exact strategies, we need to talk about the biggest legal shift hitting the Sunshine State. As of the 1st of July 2026, Florida's massive new Series LLC law officially goes into effect. If you are a real estate investor or a serial entrepreneur running multiple brands, this is a total game changer. Instead of paying to set up and maintain a dozen separate LLCs, you can now form one parent LLC and create multiple protected series underneath it. Each series gets its own individual liability shield. That means if one property or business division gets sued, the assets in your other series are completely legally protected. But here's the catch. You cannot take advantage of this new internal liability shield if your foundational parent LLC is set up incorrectly. The state's record-keeping and compliance rules for Series LLCs are incredibly strict. Most people try to do this themselves, cut corners on their initial filing, and completely void their legal protection before they even start. Your business needs to be a legitimate, rock-solid entity from day one. That's where Busy comes in. If you want to position yourself for this new Florida law, Busy handles your entire foundational LLC formation for $0 plus state fees. They take care of your articles of organization, your registered agent service, which is legally required in Florida, your EIN, and your compliance alerts. They build the exact legal fortress you need to establish that separation and prepare your business for the new 2026 series structure. This is non-negotiable if you want to protect your wealth and scale safely. Link in the description. Use my link to get your Florida LLC set up right through Busy today and unlock some exclusive perks. Get that handled first.
So let's talk about that old way for a second. Traditionally, if you wanted to insulate each of your properties from the liabilities of the others, it meant creating a whole new company. Every single time. We're talking a separate set of filing fees, separate annual reports, separate registered agent costs for each and every property in your portfolio. It gets messy.
So you end up with this choice. On one hand, you've got this huge financial and administrative headache of juggling multiple separate companies. But what if? What if there was a more streamlined, a more cost-effective way to get the exact same level of protection, or maybe even better?
Well, that brings us to the solution. The Florida legislature saw this exact problem and passed a new law creating the Protected Series LLC. This basically brings Florida up to speed with modern business structures that have been used for years in places like Delaware and Texas.
This slide right here, it nails the concept perfectly. Think of it like this. You form one main parent, LLC. That's your umbrella. Then, under that single umbrella, you can create an unlimited number of separate series. Each series is like its own little raincoat, a self-contained bubble holding a single property and protecting it from any potential storms. So let's break down how this works. The first layer of protection is what's called the vertical shield. Now, you should already be familiar with this if you have a standard LLC. It creates that solid wall between the business's problems and your personal assets. Nothing new here, but it is absolutely essential.
And this is the revolutionary part. The new law adds a horizontal shield. So what does that mean? It means a lawsuit against property A, which is held in Series A, let's say it's a slip and fall claim, that lawsuit cannot touch the assets of property B in Series B or property C in Series C. Each one is totally insulated from the others.
Okay, so what does this new streamlined structure actually mean for your bottom line? I mean, this is where it gets really compelling for any investor who's looking to scale up. The savings are huge.
Just look at this breakdown. It's pretty stark. With 5 separate LLCs, you're paying for 5 of everything. Those fees easily add up to over $2,000 every single year. But with a Series LLC, you pay those core administrative fees just once for the parent company. It drops your annual costs to around $400.
Let that sink in for a second. The crucial point here is that you get to maintain that same powerful level of legal protection while slashing your annual admin costs by roughly 80%. And think about it, As your portfolio grows, those savings just become exponential.
Okay, this all sounds pretty amazing, right? But, and this is a very big but, this powerful protection is not automatic. This is not a set it and forget it kind of deal. The law is extremely clear on this. To get the benefits, you have to follow the rules with absolute discipline. You don't even have to take my word for it. The law itself gives you the warning. Those liability shields, they exist only if you maintain strict, separate, and, importantly, contemporaneous records. That means a clear paper trail for everything, created as it happens, not something you try to piece together months down the road.
So what does that actually look like in practice? Well, it means for every single property, you need records that can prove to a third party, like a judge or a creditor, exactly what the asset is, how that series got it, and what, if anything, was paid for it. Vague records just are not going to cut it.
Let me be crystal clear about this. If you commingle funds between your series, paying for Series B's expenses out of Series A's bank account, or if you fail to keep detailed separate books, a court can, and likely will, disregard the liability shields entirely. That means piercing both the horizontal and the vertical protections, potentially exposing your entire portfolio. So how do you do it right? How do you make sure your shields are going to hold up under pressure? Well, here is a clear, actionable playbook that you should be discussing with your legal and financial advisors. Operationally, you have to treat each series like it's a truly standalone company. A separate bank account for each one? That's non-negotiable. It's the clearest evidence that your separation is real. And, as this slide shows, any transaction between series has to be treated as a formal arm's-length deal, properly documented. Every contract, every deed, every transaction, it has to be in the name of the correct series, period.
And this stuff has to be baked into your legal foundation from day one. Your main operating agreement needs to formally establish the rules of the road for how your series will be created, how they'll be managed, and how they'll interact with each other. This is not an afterthought, it's an absolute prerequisite.
So what's the big takeaway here? The Florida Series LLC offers incredible efficiency and some really powerful protection, but it demands discipline. The only way to unlock all those benefits is through rigorous, ongoing compliance. So the question isn't just if you should use this new tool, but maybe more importantly, are your operations disciplined enough to deserve the protection it offers?